Hey everybody, this is Mr. Munson, and this video is going to cover, again, another installment, if you will, of basic compass constructions. This time we're going to be creating some perpendiculars. And so the compass construction that you see here is very similar to what we're going to be doing. Now we're going to be looking at three different cases. One is we're going to be given a segment like this AB here. A segment has endpoints, and then we're going to ask to create a perpendicular bisector. The other two scenarios are going to be given lines and then forcing a line to be perpendicular and go through a specific point that's either on the line or off the line. Let's get started. Now the first thing you want to do is just put me on pause, go down to the description box just below the video, and you'll see a link to this document that I have here. Print that up, and then you just do your compass construction on that document. Now what's going to happen is over on the right hand or left hand side is a guided. So I'm going to walk you through. You're going to take your compass, put it on pause, do each step as I do. I'll try to pause as I do a step to give you a chance to hit the pause button. And then once you've gone through it with me this time, then I'm going to have you go over to the right, put me on pause, and do it on your own. And using the left demonstration, the one that's on your paper, to kind of think through what was the first step and what did I do there? That will be your job, okay? So when you're done with this sheet, you'll want to turn it in to me. Most of you have probably done this in class. If not, that's why you might be watching this video. In any case, if you've already done this, obviously you don't have to do it again. Okay, so the first step is to realize that what we're given in this particular problem, so if we were given it again, we understand the difference in these kind of problems we're going to be dealing with. We have a segment here, and that segment has endpoints of A and B. So what you're going to do in order to create a perpendicular bisector, two things, is you're going to create a line that's going to be perpendicular to this thing. Now, I can tell just by the looks of that, it doesn't bisect it, right? And so it's going to move along. That's probably a pretty good bisector. So we need it to be perpendicular. That's what that little box means, and to be in the middle of it. Now we're not just sketching or trying to come up with our best guess. We're going to use our compass in order to make this happen. So the first thing you're going to do with me is take your compass and you're going to put it on one of the endpoints. Now I'm going to play as if I'm right-handed, so I'm putting on the B. Now if you're left-handed, go ahead and put it on A. Then you're going to take your compass, and right now it's about halfway, but I'm actually going to open it up well over halfway. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass, and I'm not going to draw anything until I'm a little bit down here to the bottom. Now, when I strike this arc, it's going to be a big arc, and what I want you to know is I've gotten pretty good at realizing that when I strike this arc, it's got to be, again, I can kind of visualize where middle is. I want to make sure that arc is going to cross where that imaginary perpendicular bisector is, that it hasn't been created yet, okay? And you'll get better at this. All right, so then once you've drawn that arc, making sure that you don't change the compass setting at all, go to the other side to A. Now this might be requiring you to switch hands or to rotate your paper upside down so that you can still use the same hand. And we'll start and strike an arc from the other side like that. Two arcs, both with the exact same compass measurement, each from the endpoints. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect those 2 points. We're using the straight edge. Whoops, that was interesting. Get this over here. And there I have it. Okay? There's my perpendicular bisector. All right, now I need to make sure that I do two things. One, I need to mark the right. That shows the reader that I realize that that's a right angle there. The other thing is mark congruence, okay? So what I mean by that is that these two segments, or the segment AB is cut in half by this blue line. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the two sides congruent. Okay, so let's just review what I did. I took my compass and I put it on one of the endpoints and I struck one of the arcs. Then I went to the other side and struck the same arc. Then I connected the 2 points and then I made my marks, right? Making it congruent and everything. All right, now it's your turn over here to do it. Put me on pause and see if you can do it on your own now. All right, here I go. I'm going to open it up well over halfway. And you're going to be hearing me saying this a lot. I'm going to, instead of drawing the big, huge arc, I've gotten pretty good. I can only just mark the bottom and the top approximately where it needs to be. Just gotten good enough. That would be the next step for you if you're feeling pretty confident. Then I switch it to the other side, and I'll strike above, and I will strike below. If these do not make an X, then I've probably either changed the setting on my compass somehow. I've played with it, moving it from one hand to the other or whatever. Or it could be that one of the arcs just is not long enough. I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to mark the right angle and congruence. Okay. Now take a look at the left and the right, and you look at which one you think represents the cleanest looking picture. I'm hoping you'll agree with me it's the one on the right. And the reason is because I didn't strike the whole arcs that created this big huge football, because I really don't need to have all that arc. Now what you can do is before you make your congruence marks and things like that, the right angle, is you can simply take your eraser and erase all the unnecessary parts of your arc, so you just have the X's above and below, and it'll clean up your drawing. That might be the step that you need right now. It might be drawing the entire arc like I did in the example to the left. Or maybe you're at the step of drawing the arcs and erasing what you don't need. Or you might even graduate to the level of just simply striking above and striking below from the left and the right side of the segment, and you have a nice clean drawing to begin with. All right, now let's look at the next scenario. All right, in this next scenario, what I want to point out is it's asking us to write a perpendicular through a point on the line. Notice it doesn't say anything about a bisector, and the reason is because we're not dealing with a segment. We're dealing with a line. But this is what I'm going to do. See, I just learned how to create perpendiculars up here on a segment, and I don't have a segment. So what I'm going to do is in a problem like this is I'm going to create a segment. I'm going to bring a segment into this problem. And what I'm going to do is create that segment by taking my compass, and you're going to follow along with me step by step here now. Don't watch the whole thing, just step by step. I'm going to set up my compass so that it's pointed. The pointed part of my compass is on the point that's given to me. I'm going to open up my compass so that I make sure that my compass will fall completely on the line like this. If it's open too wide, it's no good, right? So I'm just going to make sure that it's not going to fall outside the length of the line. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to raise it up just slightly higher than the line, and I'm going to strike an arc that goes all the way around like this. It's basically part of a circle, just like we always do, right? All right, now this is what I want you to understand you just did. You created a segment on this line, and some people need to put that point on there, okay, those 2 points. See the green points? And so you created a segment on that line, and that segment is what we're going to bisect. So now we're dealing with the compass construction we just did up above, and we're just going to do it using those green points as our end points. All right, so if you remember, when we did that, what we did is we took our compass and we put it on our endpoint, and we opened it up well over halfway. Now that's too much for me. I'm going to mark it there. And then I struck a big arc that helped create like that football looking thing. I've gotten good enough in the days that I'm just going to strike above and strike below. Okay? So I know it's going to go above that point. Remember, I'm creating a perpendicular and it's going to go through that part there at some point. So I strike above, I'll take my compass down below, and I can just make one big arc if I want to. Then I'll flick my arc. Now I'm not going to put it on that point. I need to put it on the end point of the segment I created. So take a look. I put it over here on that green point, and I'll strike below. And then I'll strike below again. And it's looking like a construction we've done before. So let's bring our ruler into place. And there I have it. I need to remember that this is, whoops, I just slightly missed my mark down at the bottom. My ruler doesn't have a whole lot of variation. Don't forget to put the perpendicular because that's what we're looking for, and there's your construction. So over on the right-hand side one is time for you to do it on your own. Let's just kind of review our steps first. We went to the point and we struck an arc, okay? Using our compass, we struck an arc. And then from there, we created these 2 points that we're going to bisect. We opened up our compass well over halfway and we struck above and struck below. Then we went to the other side, struck above and struck below. And then we created those lines. Now I just mimicked doing the construction freehand. You are not to do that. I'm pretty good at spotting that and I can't give you credit. So if you do that, I just simply mark it wrong and you lose your points. It's not any game that I play with you. You don't need to pretend like you did it right or whatever. I know what we're doing. So look at the construction over to the left, mimic that construction over to the right. Start with creating your smile and then working from there. Put me on pause and come back and check your work. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and do this very quickly. I'm going to take my compass. This is the short side on the right-hand side. That's the side I need to make sure I'm not going to rotate and be part of off the line, okay? So, I'm just going to strike my arc here. Then I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to open it up well over halfway and I'll strike above. I'll strike below. I'll take my compass to the other side of the segment I created and I will strike above and I will strike below. With these colors, they're going to start kind of going together here. Let's go ahead and draw my line. Label it perpendicular, and I have a perpendicular that goes through the point. Okay? All right, very good. Now let's move to the last one. Now this last one has exactly the same steps as the one we just did. Okay? We're gonna put our compass on the point that we want to force a perpendicular through. We're gonna put our compass there first, create kind of this smile, this segment on the line, and then we'll bisect that segment. So you take your compass and you put it on the point, and then I'm gonna make sure that this is kind of the short side. Whoops! I want to make sure I'm on the line on both sides. So here we go. I'm gonna strike this arc. Start it slightly above the line, and I'm going to come down like this. There's my smile. I'm going to take my compass and put it on one of the endpoints. Right? Open it up well over halfway, and I'll strike a little bit above. Right? And below. I take my compass to the other side. I strike above, and then I strike below. And I draw my line. And it forced a perpendicular through a point not on the line. Okay? And so I just need to mark it perpendicular. Here's my construction. All right, guess what time it is? It is your time. Now let me give you a hint. When you put your compass on this point, you're going to strike your arc upside down. All right, come back and check your work. All right, I have my compass on my point. Make sure it's lined up. And I'm just going to draw my smiley face on the other side this time, since the point's on the different side. And then I'm going to take my compass, stick it on one of the endpoints. This time we'll go over to this side. I'll open it up well over halfway. Oops. There we go. And I will strike above, strike below. I'll go to the other side. And I will strike above and strike below. Line up my ruler. My ruler is, the original line is a little bit not level. So I don't know, it's not going to let me do it. So please forgive my inaccuracy here. I'll draw my line and put in a perpendicular. And you should have something similar to that. Okay? All right, well, that's it. You're complete. It is those three or those three construction pieces are pieces that you're going to need to know in the sense of a test or quiz, and even on the SOL. And so make sure you can mimic those, and check with me if you have any trouble. All right. Take care. Bring that in next class for full credit if you have not done this video or this exercise in class already.